I'm gonna mute both of us really quick because I want to see if I can fix this thing on X real quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all, we are here. Let me do this. All right, there we go. We'll make it better. All right, guys, we got Miss. Oh, I gotta unmute you too. There we go. Markeisha Snaith, the career strategist, AI governance, money maker.
I know. I didn't even know what to put. I mean, it's so many times.
She does a lot. She does a lot. So what I'm gonna do first is I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the first resume um, up. And I think we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Let's see. This first person is currently a technical and simulation support, pretty much IT at a university, and they are trying to get into be SOC analyst, IR, or working threat intel. And I also have their LinkedIn, so that'll be what we look at last. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, hang on a second because I got his thing open in Word, but it's not pulling up for me to share. So let's see something. All right. I'll figure this out later. So since that's the case, then what we'll do is just look at his we'll just look at his LinkedIn real quick.
Hey, all the way from Canada.
Let me add that to the screen so people can see what we're looking at. Okay, perfect. It's on there. Let me see if I can zoom in. So that looks better for everybody.
All right.
So he pretty much works IT in a university. And or you know what we could do while we had this up, we have, I mean, his resume. This is Mr. Michael. We have it. Let me exit out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I have it on the back end too. I actually have it pulled up right now.
Perfect. Yeah. You can actually see if you want to, you can see if it'll let you share it. For whatever reason, it wouldn't let me share the Microsoft Word window.
Okay, let me see because I'm doing Google Docs, so maybe.
That's actually pretty smart. That's actually pretty smart. See, that's why I got you on here because that's what I'm probably going to do. That way, I can just open it up in here.
Yep. All right, let me go ahead. Sure. Hold on, I just have to close that on one thing. All right, you can see this, correct?
Let's see. If not, I got to pull it up in Google Docs now too. Oh no, I can't.
You can't? Okay.
Well, I can add it to the stage. So
Okay.
let me remove that.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, I edited it for
Okay,
everybody.
perfect. Perfect. And because you all did not redact your resumes like you were supposed to, I quickly scrolled up so we could block out all of Michael's personal information. Be sure when you are sharing your resumes like this that you do redact in the future. Alrighty. So, all right, let's work through this. So, cybersecurity SOC analyst intern. All right. Ooh, this looks like a lengthy resume. Just from looking at it right where it's at. Let me see how many pages this is. This is 3 pages. Okay, not bad. Um, it's just this first part, I would say.
Yeah, I think one of it could be lacking some consistency because it goes from experience and then these projects. And honestly, this experience to me trumps the projects. So I mean, if you wanted to do projects, maybe you could have one on here, but I don't think you need this many because you got an internship. But that's
Mm,
just my opinion, only because I know when you apply to whatever job you apply to, on first glance, it's 6 or 7 seconds. They're not perusing through all this like we are right now.
right. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. And again, we're talking about this section. One of the things too I would do to kind of make this formatting just much easier to read is when it comes to having your actual role title, that should be on one line, and all of the company and the city and state should be right under it. But you can keep your dates directly across from your role. That helps for reading purposes. But just like what was said earlier, because it's an internship, I don't think that you need to really break it up this way. You could still have your bullet points. In my opinion, no more than 6 bullet points. Some people do 8. I just really think cutoff is 6. And what's most favorable is like around 3. But you can just take the most appropriate bullet points that speaks to all the work that you did in your internship instead of breaking it out this way.
Yeah. And I also was going to mention this is what I like to do. You can embellish a little bit here. Um, you really don't have to put May. I would put just 2025
Mm-hmm.
and I would put it through 2026. And just on first glance, okay, he got a year of experience, whether it's an internship or not. Now, whenever you go through your verification, if you get a job offer or something, all they're gonna do is just verify you did your internship or worked at that place. They're not gonna deep dive and see if you were there all the months that you said you were. But this is just the way to, hey, you gotta embellish a little bit. It's not like line, it's embellishment, just a little bit. So but I'm also noticing that you have some good experience here in the OT space. That is a space that a lot of people don't have experience in. So you actually are like a unique candidate. You have different experience from like most everybody else who's doing like the try hack me's and the hack the box and everything else. They're doing typical cyber or whatever stuff. OT is its own different beast. And a friend of the channel and somebody you probably should connect with is my guy Gabe Abarucci. He works for Jacobs, and I think he definitely could probably be somebody that could like look at your skill set and see like how he likes it and maybe what some other stuff that you can add. But if you want to continue to be in that OT space, I definitely you should keep it up.
Yeah, and probably here just to add, metrics are very important. When I'm looking at this overall section for the role that you did, I am only seeing, really one true metric here. I'd even count being in tier 1 or tier 2 is a metric in a sense because you are showing what level you are at and what level you're operating, but you do need to have more quantitative data on here, right? Because again, when the natural eye is reading, they are naturally going towards numbers. But there's no way for the business side to know exactly what your value is if you don't show it through the numbers. So it is very important that you have that you have numbers listed out throughout your resume. Now, I get this a lot. I'm sure, Hannah, you get this as well, where you're just like, well, I don't know what my metrics are. I wasn't looking at that in real time. No problem. Estimates, right? Like guesstimates. Just like what was said, not verifying that information. Nobody's going to reach out to your former employee and say, hey, Michael mentioned that he analyzed and categorized 3,000 plus monthly sock tickets. Can you confirm? Nobody's confirming that information, but you do need to highlight that throughout. And rule of thumb, for my opinion, at least have one metric a part of each bullet point that you have. Don't OD it, but have metrics that are going to be able to measure.
I couldn't agree more. And if you don't know how to make up some stuff, this is when you can get creative with AI. You just have to prompt it the right way.
Exactly. As we're scrolling down, this is what becomes confusing because we have SOC analyst intern, which was for shortened period of time. But then we get down here where you are a support specialist from January 2024 to present. That can be very confusing. And it could also be seen as an overlap in terms of employment, which is something that a lot of organizations are against. So, one of the things, if I'm just reading your resume as a recruiter, I want to know why you were working two jobs at once. Why did you need to do an internship when you already had, I'm going to assume, full-time employment here?
Yeah, and I think that's easy for him to answer. And while we are looking at the support stuff real quick, because he's probably doing more than support, but I'm telling you guys, there's a reason why people say words mean things. So when you put yourself like anything with support related on here, it just keeps you in that support realm of only possibly getting like support type of roles. So you should definitely reframe this because I'm looking at it, I'm trying to think about like what I believe you may do versus what you say you do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And keep in mind, competition is steep, right? Like even Michael, you saying you took a leave of absence to do the internship. I don't know that. I'm just looking at your resume, right? I'm not seeing where you took a leave of absence. I don't see that anywhere. Maybe you may have that in your cover letter, which most of the time people may not be reading. But as we've said, there's only 7 to 9 seconds spent looking at your resume, right? So if that's not popping out in the very like easily to the eye, nobody's going to know that you took a leave of absence to do an internship. And then what you should do is you could say that you stopped working the job during the time that you did the internship and then put it back that you went to that internship. But honestly, I don't know, you may disagree with me, but I, in a sense, would probably remove it and just put it all into this role at your support specialist. Like I would add what you were doing in that internship here, or you could make it a standalone project. I would just do it differently. I wouldn't have it with what it's at right now.
I've worked with some people that have had like a current job and internship before. So I think the hard part too sometimes is which one is current. So like you have the internship, like it was, the top, which would mean that would be what you're currently doing. So I think that is the confusing part about it. So if you did only work it for 6 months, however long, you probably would put it under that role. But to add on what she said, I looked at your job description, your bullets. It looks like I could say you're assist admin or you're doing more because you're like managing budgets and you are also doing audits. Like you're doing a lot of stuff. So a person like you, I would definitely say, okay, give me a list of everything you did. And then we would try to tailor it to a little bit more niche versus like spread out everywhere so you could kind of reach your goals in this job search.
Right. Like we need to, like when you're looking at a resume, you need to see progression. You need to see a story being told here. Right. And this is not telling the story. And somebody said, so lie. And somebody said it's not lying if you believe. Oh my gosh,
So,
you all
so, I mean,
are y'all are funny.
so good.
We're not telling you to lie. What we're telling you is that you need to be more tactical when it comes to how you're presenting your resume. As I said before, your resume needs to show progression, it needs to tell a story. If you are in that internship while you're currently at your other role, as Hanre mentioned, one of the things you could do is you could just switch places of, the order of it. But again, it still needs to be condensed. But yeah, I think that you should be highlighting, the way what you've included in these bullet points under your internship. I think that you could highlight better things here to just show more of the skill set that you've learned while being in that particular role. In addition to that, if I'm scrolling, I'm not trying to scroll too high up because it's going to show your information. You don't have a professional summary. So one of the things I was going to say is I don't know what role you're going for. And
So
I
you
know
know what?
on your LinkedIn.
I'm 50-50. It really depends on the person. Like if they just want me to do a summary, we can. But sometimes some people don't need it. If you get straight to exactly like what you have on there, you can just have your action stuff on there. Now, I think when you are being a little bit more strategic and trying to land like certain roles for real, if you want to have a summary, like I'm not like being hypocritical. I have one, but I do hit or miss where we'll make like resumes without it that do good, and then you will have resumes with it only because of like we were talking about earlier. One, a lot of people have a lot of generic summaries. Two, sometimes they don't get read and they just go past straight what the summary's looking for, and they go look and see what you did. I think another reason why I believe he may not have one is because it's already like a long resume. Like these
Mhm.
projects are very good, but like I said, like it's a lot. And coming in on the projects, shout out to Josh. Josh has been on the show, but some companies may not even know about the cyber range, so it may not even hold weight saying, "Hey, it's part of the cyber range course." And two, sometimes, and this has only happened recently since post pandemic, some companies kind of they used to do this with like certain creators where if they knew they had some type of course or something, they would say, no, we don't want people that came from so and so. So sometimes it's best not even to let people know everything you were doing, more so just labeling these as some projects that you did on your own versus saying it was a part of something. Just to kind of just be a little bit more secret. And like I said, also with these projects, you want to keep in mind, make sure you do these projects multiple times, because if not, if I go down this project and ask you about something and try to go in detail with it and you can't go in detail, it's gonna make you look bad. So I've seen it tons of times for people trying to pivot and they have these projects but they only did it one time.
Mhm. Yeah, I had a summary on the previous resume, but this is my newest resume with projects added. Um yeah, I mean, for me as well, in terms of formatting for resumes and just what I've seen works best for myself, my clients, right? I can only speak to that. I have my contact information at the top.
Mhm.
It's generally centered. Um, in my contact information, right under the name, it is going to be the role that I'm seeking. And that's why I said I don't think I saw that on your resume. I don't want to scroll up too far either because it has your personal information. But I should immediately know, as somebody looking to hire you, what role you are applying for, right? Because I don't know if you're applying for a vulnerability management role, a SOC role, a support specialist role, right? Because your resume just says so much. After your contact information section, you can have a professional summary. I personally like professional summaries. They don't have to be long, but in your professional summary, you can also have achievements in there, right? So you can have a few bullet points which speaks to your achievements, which makes it a lot easier to read than just focusing on a paragraph. Then you can have your core expertise or your skills, But when you do have your core expertise and your skills, one of the things that I recognize that works is what you have here, where you kind of categorize it, right? So you can have, for example, you can have your security tools all in one. You can have identity and endpoint. You can have frameworks, right? That's right how it is. And then you can have projects. If projects is what you want on your resume, you can absolutely have projects, but it has to be more condensed than this. Then you can go into your experience. Projects are only for people, in my opinion, who are very new to the industry. Like I'm not
Mhm.
putting projects on my resume because I've been in the industry for over a decade, right? After that experience, you then move into generally into your certifications and your education. That is important to put. I see that you've kind of, I want to say you linked it. Yep, you linked it, which is great. It's a great way to verify without them having to second guess.
What's
Um,
the Security X again?
that's like the new one for. I heard that it replaced I want to say the
CAS?
Y essay. Did it? I think
No,
that's
I think it's the CAS. Let me see.
past.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I think it's the CAS. That's what it used to be, I believe. They might tell us in what you call it. Yep. So yes, the CAS.
Okay. Um, so yeah, so having this is yes, thank you. Having this is great, but like the order really matters too.
Yeah.
Format.
Yeah. I normally do like when I am doing people's resumes if they have projects, we may do one or two, depending on how much experience they have, and it's going to be closer to the top. It's going to be summarized and condensed. Therefore, it's like if they ask you about it, you can go in depth about it in the interview. But on the resume, it's like, so much and get lost. And like I said, what you put on there is free game. And if they feel like these are some excellent projects, this guy's a master, let's ask some master level interview questions. You got to be prepared for that.
Yep. Yes, this is the first review that we've done. People are asking how they can submit. Submissions were due, I think, yes, by yesterday or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we can always run this back, but we like if we keep like first of all, we probably won't get to anybody who submits today because there are other people who submitted last week.
Mm-hmm.
So we may do this again, or I don't know if we make this like a monthly thing. I don't know. But let's get to his LinkedIn real quick and
Okay,
then
yeah. Stop sharing so you can do the LinkedIn.
let's add him to the stage real quick. Because so this is actually where you have to be more strategic.
Yeah.
Okay. This is okay, but this is not what anybody is looking for. People, there always this discourse about, well, you can't put you a role that you're not or this or that, but you've worked as a SOC analyst before. So I would advise you to remove seeking, and now you need to focus on one role. It's either going to be SOC analyst, threat intel, or whatever. Whichever one you like the most. If you want to do threat intel, it need to be SOC analyst up here within a pipe, and then something else. So for in your experience, based on what I saw from your resume, you could do SOC analyst, pipe, OT security, pipe. You have your what is that? The security X, whatever it is, and then you can put a couple of skills in either a SOC OT job or any type of SOC job that you have that you see come up on job applications a lot, and that's like a first framer of kind of what'll be up there in the beginning of your headline, and it's kind of going to position yourself as whatever role that you want recruiters to find you for. A lot of times we're putting, what's the word, aspiring and all that type of stuff. That's not what they're typing in when they're trying to find these candidates on LinkedIn and email them. So, like,
Yeah.
former SOC, like, take that out. It really doesn't matter if you're a former, because right there, if you're telling somebody you was formerly something, that means you're no longer it. So that's why I would say just take it out.
Yeah. I think I had commented before on the aspiring. I honestly I hate to see people put aspiring. I don't want to hire you if you're aspiring to be somebody. You're either it or you're not. And also in this headline, as it's been mentioned, it is very important. You have to put keywords that are going to be searchable and what people are actually looking for, right? Like your recruiters and your peers. Because when they search at the top where it says, I'm looking for, they are putting in these types of things, right? So if they're looking for somebody that's a SOC analyst, they're putting SOC analyst. And if your headline says that, and throughout your resume, you have additional keywords, your profile is coming up. So you really have to be very concise and clear here with what you want. Also, if I'm seeing MS cybersecurity graduate, I'll be honest with you, I don't care about that. Like I care about the role that you can do well in, and that needs to be laid out very, very clearly.
Yeah. And I also add, great picture with your graduation stuff, but you can just keep it simple. I like to tell people, hey, get your iPhone, whatever phone you have, a neutral background, just take a little headshot. Just this is your professional Tinder. So you're representing yourself, the companies or whoever else comes across it and branding. And so you're trying to stand out when they come across your profile. You want the recruiter to say, hey, you got a nice LinkedIn profile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
See, good about, very lengthy. Um, what I tell people sometimes you can do with this is make it actionable. On my LinkedIn, I have like some things I accomplished at organizations. So it's like an actionable like career highlight section. So you could just make it to be a little bit more bulleted and like get straight to the point on it. Because I rarely probably go through people's abouts all the time just to read it unless I'm really trying to get certain information to see if they're like exactly who I'm looking for.
Right.
But I mean, it's a lot of good information here. I like to view if people are posting at all and what they're posting. 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
And I think too, sometimes just to add
Mhm.
as a comment, when people are like recent graduates, I think they get so stuck in this whole I recently graduated ordeal. Um, and I want to say like that worked prior to the pandemic. I want to say now, with just how these companies are operating and just how they're moving, like they don't want to see that, right? Like, great, you graduated, but now it's like, okay, let's get to work. What can you bring to the table? How can you make me more money in my business? And so now it's time to start posting about what you can do and what you will do for an organization. You need to be that thought leader. So it's really important to start posting about whatever you choose to do. Let's say you choose to do vulnerability management. That's what you need to be posting about. When I go to your page as somebody who's looking to hire you, for example, I should be like, you are the subject matter expert in vulnerability management. I should be so confident and I should really want to reach out to you because of what you're posting, how often you're engaging with other people. That to me is about 20% of what makes a good hire.
Right, right. And I'm just going through here. I think yes, one point in time you were more active. Even though you're kind of just posting updates, you still were getting some type of engagement. I would encourage you to try to get to be a little bit more active on here so you can connect with the right people, and who knows who will come across your post when you post something on LinkedIn. You can actually repost. I don't know if you did. I'm not going to go back too far, but those projects you did, hey, redo them. Make a walkthrough of doing them. Put them on your page. You never know who's going to see it.
Yep.
Okay, we kind of covered a lot of this stuff. I would like to say, to keep it simple, I like to have whatever bullet points I have on the resume I like to have on here. Granted, as long as it's not saying anything it doesn't need to say that doesn't have to be on, on the public. But for the most part, I try to make a match just so this is my digital resume. So that's what the whole benefit of that. And yeah, so you have it different on here. You have this role first, and
Mhm.
then you have the internship. But on your resume, you have the internship and then the job. And so that's why it's like it is confusing because you put that the job ended and then you have the current job under the ended internship. So just some consistency issues right there. But if you fix that, that's fine.
And I will
Um,
also add too, Could you do show all, because I'm seeing other positions here that may not be of relevance, right? So I'm seeing some food services assistant, patient transporter. Could you scroll down? I think there's one more. Team member at Whataburger. Um, like honestly, I would personally remove it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like starting off, and honestly, I may still have. I don't know if I removed it or not, but I know when I first started off doing my stuff, I had like my IT job, the cause of business, and my Target job on here, and hopefully, I've removed them by now. But I know when we first starting off, we just try to put what we do, but you're probably not being looked at to for any of these type of roles, so they really aren't serving you that much of a purpose,
Mm.
unless like I can see. I think you're still in that what medical. Oh no, you out of school. Okay, I thought you was doing something with medical. I saw somewhere, but yeah, I would say definitely remove that. And let's see his skills real quick. I mean, we already know what skills he has, but I would just say make sure you don't have anything that's support related on here. Like, for example, technical support, take that off. And let's
These are
see.
the skills.
I would say like stuff like Raspberry Pi can go. That's like you're not seeing Raspberry Pi on the job applications. So all you gotta do is go through like a couple job descriptions, or Josh has recently did like the heavy lifting for you guys and made these videos about working at IM and being security engineering and stuff like that, where he's showing you like all the type of skills that you need. So remove this. Like, yeah, just go do an audit and remove everything that's not security related from this. You can leave your networking stuff because you'll need networking, but leave stuff that's not going to lead to a higher level role off of here. And I'll say last but not, oh, there you go. See, so look, you got some recommendations. This is perfect. This is perfect. This actually showcases. So the biggest issue right now in recruiting is so many fake applicants. So for the fact that they can go through here and see, hey, you work with this guy and you were at the internship and you actually did some work is a plus for you. A lot of people you'd be surprised don't have recommendations on their LinkedIn.
Yeah, I want to address one of these comments in here. The guy has a whole master's degree and you just shitted on it like it wasn't nothing. This industry's so messed up. I don't think anybody is shitting on anybody. I mean, obviously, Michael took advantage of what we're doing here, submitted his information. I mean, Hanre and I charge like $500 an hour to do this, and we're doing this for free. Nobody's shitting on anything that Michael has going on. I think that Michael has a great background, but he came here because he's looking for a plan, right? He needs to know how he can move forward, and we're doing that. You all cannot be sensitive when it comes to people coaching you to become better. We've been in this industry for over a decade, and we're also career coaches, and we've also have been on the hiring side and interviewing side. So we know what it takes for you to land a position, right? You can't be weak when we're having these conversations. It's all coaching at the end of the day. Like, we love what Michael has here, but he can definitely improve. And anything that we're saying, we are pretty sure everybody else on this call is going to be able to improve based on the information that we're sharing. This is how cutthroat the industry is. If you cannot take it, you do not need to be in this industry. That's why people are making well into the 200,000s, 300,000s, 600,000s. It's not for people who are going to be weak and say we need to sugarcoat things. Michael is going to be able to take everything we said and progress in life. So don't take it as we are being rude or anything. We've provided very valuable information for everybody on this call. And again, if you want to be in this industry, you got to know your manager is not going to sweet talk. Everybody at the top is not going to be your best friend, right? We need to know how to maneuver, and we need to know how to get over it.
I think she said it best. Yeah, and plus if the person that we're talking to is not complaining, like I understand, but nobody definitely didn't say like it's trash. Like I have a master. You just said, hey, in the grand scheme of things in the job market, so many people getting masters. Like we just reacted to a video the other day where a young lady got a master's in 36 days. So when we kind of bring it back in and say that's cool that you got the masters, but what can you do? That's literally all we're saying.
Right, right, exactly. Now you have to prove yourself ultimately. Um and that's what these companies are wanting. So they know people are getting degrees, they know people are getting the certs, but can you actually do the job? Again, I need everybody to think about this in business terms. You have to put yourself in the mindset of the business. That is the way that you're going to succeed in this job market when you think about it like that, because all these companies want to do is make money. And when you come in, they hire you to make them more money. They don't hire you because you're nice and all of that stuff. They hire you because you're going to help them get to the billions of dollars that they want to get to make the CEO's pockets fatter, right? So think like that, in that mindset, and it'll help you get a lot further in this job search.
Perfect. All right. So we got Mr. Gabriel Smith. They are currently a senior IT operations analyst, and they want to be an IM engineer, or they want to go into IR. And then they have what is it? Information security engineer, which can vary. So that's kind of vague. However, they do have a summary. I see Datadog up there. I see Jira, SOX, PCI DSS.
I think this is a fair professional summary,
Mhm. But I
Again,
do.
recruiter's
No,
going to
you
see him.
you got it. Oh, I was just gonna say the only thing is people have to realize, like, if you say this is what you are right here, but then I go here and I go
Mm,
here, but I don't see those titles, that can kind of like, okay, are they just putting keywords down here or what? So if you believe that you operate as an information security analyst, put that on the resume. Like I said, whenever they verify your employment, they're not going to verify your title. They just want to know if you worked at the company. It's up to you to sell yourself enough in the interview that they believe you're a security analyst.
yeah. I will say, though, that for somebody who just went through a background check, they did verify my titles. So, one of the things I will say is what you have on your resume doesn't really matter. It has to paint the picture of you selling yourself. When you get to the background check, you could have the right titles on there. Nobody's going to be like, well, on your resume, it said you were a senior IT operations analyst,
Mhm.
but on your background check, you put that you're IT help desk. They're not doing all that type of verification.
Yeah.
So it is important. Again, your resume sells yourself. That's you selling yourself. So it needs to match. What Hanrei said, it has to match. You putting information security analyst, but saying senior IT operations analyst, it has to be which one do you want? What do you want? What job do you want? But your background check, in my opinion, from personal experience and with these recent clients of mine who got these background checks and came back with discrepancies, you need to make sure that title matches because they will question it.
Yeah. So I only add, like, so for example, I tell people my most in-depth background check outside of getting my clearance like 10 plus years ago was Goldman Sachs. And it was like very thorough. So if you if you're gonna do something with some companies like that, that's a little bit different. But the most basic ones, they aren't checking that because I've had clients where, like, a lot of times I'll change their title because what they did, like, they might have been doing tier 2 help desk. So I'll change the title based on what we have in the description of the bullet points. Like, oh, this is I am, and that works for them. Because, like I said, I would let them know, okay, if you're applying there, then we need to make sure you just keep the regular stuff on here. If
Mhm.
not, they may flag it. But yeah, for the
Yeah.
most part, then yeah.
I will say that companies I know off the bat that do, very thorough background checks, Booz Allen,
Mhm.
SAIC, those are ones like at the top of my head because I just recently had clients go through them.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get through here. Because let's see, let enterprise, AM, governments, and complex authentication troubleshooting across Okta and Azure AD. Well, should just call it Intra because we know what Intra is now. For 40 plus identities enforcing role based access control, conditional access, and SOX aligned controls to reduce excessive access and strengthen security posture. Okay. Let's see. Own and escalate authentication and MFA incidents, performing deep. I don't know. So I'm saying, like, when you say MFA incidents, I'm trying to think, I guess, like, what are the actual MFA incidents?
Yeah, maybe it should just be owned escalated authentication incidents. But even that wording is a little bit weird.
Because, like, on my end on the blue team, we actually look at authentication incidents where, possible suspicious activity from somebody using MFA. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or maybe MFA isn't working. I haven't seen that a lot. I've been seeing people say MFA incidents a lot. So that's where I kind of was just like, okay, I wonder like what that is.
Yeah.
Improve enterprise support readiness by tuning Datadog alerts, refining Jira service management workflows, and standardizing escalation process to increase visibility into system health and recurring incident patterns. I mean, it's good. I think it seems like it's a lot though. It's like you go. I wonder like what type of Datadog alerts were there, and then you throw in Jira, and now you have escalation processes um, that you're working on. I'm not gonna lie, like knowing like what I know from some verbiage, it actually seems like, and I'm not mad at it, but it actually seems like you're saucing up like whatever you're doing to IT ops, which I'm cool with it. But sometimes that's why it's good to let other people see it to see if what you're saying makes sense. Like only time stuff will be deep dive like this if maybe you get passed on to a hiring manager and they start kind of looking through this stuff and trying to see like what did you mean by like what alerts were you having in Datadog, and then what's
Mhm.
the correlation with Jira.
Yeah, it has to be clear. Like, even if it's confusing to us technical people, imagine how confusing it could be to the recruiter who generally is not a technical person.
And let's see, you served as a technical advisor to stakeholders, translating complex authentication, cloud integration, and access control issues into clear remediation guidance for business and executive audiences. Okay, what cloud? Was it Azure? Um, and then this last bullet, there's not also, I'm surprised you ain't said this already. There's not a lot of metrics on here.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the 40,000 plus, that's probably the only number we see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I will say there's not a lot of consistency in these bullet points to know what you're doing. Like I said, some of the stuff could line up with doing some security stuff, and then some of it could line up with doing some other stuff. Like you got in here, you doing like some IM, you
Mm,
working on cloud integrations and access control. You put up stuff like there, been cool. Like you had some cool up here. Where is it? Deep root cause, Azure sign-ins. Right here. Oh, there we go. It would have been cool to actually, if you would have leveraged and even had some metrics on, like, okay, you oversaw conditional access. Like, what did you guys see from implementing conditional access? Did it lead to, less false positives, less security incidents? Like, what happened when you implemented stuff like that? So that would have been cool. So all in all, I mean, I think there's still some good points. I just think they're kind of all over the place, in my opinion, just because I'm not able to really deduce exactly what you're doing at your role.
exactly. And I also don't know what you want to do in the future. And let's say you want to be in an IM position, right? Then this area needs to highlight some of that stuff too, to show, to just show how you have exposure to that. Again, it's important to, because right now with only having, let's again, if you wanted to do I'm only seeing you have that experience since January 2024. So you don't have a lot of experience there. So to expand on your experience, you would also include it in bits and pieces here.
Yeah, exactly. And then just to get to this one that you worked at Verizon, you did 75 plus daily complex iOS and Android escalations, network device and authentication issues while maintaining high customer satisfaction and high volume. So I don't know if you were actually working at the store or what, but this is actually a good skill that you probably could have leveraged some more with Power BI, escalation point for tier one agents. I would also add that you also could get into doing security for mobile, like Microsoft Intune or any some of the other type of platforms that companies have for their company devices. You can actually try to probably get into that bag as well too. So I would look into that. You'll have probably less work than what you currently do now.
Mm-hmm. I do also want to note just some areas just need to be cleaned up,
Hmm.
right? Honestly, like formatting, like education. I mean, I can see maybe why you don't want to put the year that you graduated, but for me, anything that can get populated in a job application, I try to put that information on the resumes to make it easier. But again, I can see why you would want to remove it if you don't want anybody trying to figure out your age. Also, kind of missing some periods in these bullet points. Somebody actually called out something that is of importance in terms of the tenses that you use. So, for any roles that are in the past, yes, you use past tense. In a current role that you are working in, ideally, you can use present tense. But I have seen it where even if you use past tense, you're still able to get away with it. Like it's not
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, when I first started doing this, I had like did research and got courses and everything on this like 6 years ago, and it was more so like because I think the past tense words show a little bit more action, so that's the reason why you'll see a lot more of that versus like on the present tense. But it all I guess boils down to somebody's preference on what they like. Let's see what else he has because I know you got like a hard stop that we got to get to, so I want to get one more in.
I don't have a hard stop. I was supposed to, but nobody had scheduled anything for me.
Okay, okay. Cool,
We
cool.
said,
So we got a little bit more time we could cook. So yeah, we got some stuff down here. I don't think we saw you talking about NIST up here. So that's the thing. A lot of times people will go through and throw these like this AI integrations. I don't think we saw you talk about AI up here. Um, you didn't really say a lot about log analysis, but you have it showcased down here and you have some of this other stuff down here. So when you just have vague skills that don't show anywhere in the job description or what we can possibly infer that you do at work just based on the title, that also can ding against you because it's not lining up. So that's what I would say. Do not think they didn't put their let me see. Yeah, they didn't put their LinkedIn down.
LinkedIn's important now. I mean, honestly, I've had applications say if you don't list a LinkedIn, you will be rejected immediately. That's a big thing I'm seeing nowadays.
Let's see. Okay, let's get to this next person. Mr. Coleman Eric is level four GRC analyst, and they want to go to level five.
We will go over resume submissions after. You can't submit your resume now. A lot of these people submitted their resume far in advance. But if we choose to do something like this again, we will absolutely open it up for you all to submit your resumes.
Here's a person that pays attention to detail. See, he showed me he pays attention to detail without even have to tell me.
By redacting.
Because it literally says on the thing, "Hey, please redact."
Yeah.
Oh, look at Gemini helping us out over here.
All right. So yeah, did career highlights, which is I was talking about like achievements in a sense. So some people
Mhm.
don't want to write a professional summary with a paragraph. So you can come in and you can do like a highlight section or achievement section.
Yeah, and I would say that this strategy actually works. I used to have a career highlight section that I think I'm gonna go back to because it's just more actionable. It's a less of the mundane. Um, what is it called? Me and Nate talked about it. It was funny, like all the different keywords you always see. That energetic, security analyst with over 10 years
Oh
experience,
yeah.
all that crap. Uh, so yeah, so this person has a decade in enterprise technology environments with a career progression from platform admin into cybersecurity. Okay. Cross-functional partner across risk, legal, HR, IT, and engineering. So we automatically know like a lot of the business that he works with inside the company. Hands-on Navex IRM admin with experience configuring tables, workflows, and fields to support enterprise risk and exception lifecycle. I'm assuming you know about some of this stuff.
Yeah. One of the things I would say again, if you even in this area, the metrics have to be there, right?
Hmm.
Because everybody has done what you've done. That's in this space, everyone has done it. So, what makes you stand out are going to be those metrics. Somebody else also asked regarding listing metrics, so metrics be on every point. I do always say if you can have a metric for every bullet point, yes. But if it becomes like you're kind of using too much, then there are bullet points that don't need metrics per se, right? But in my opinion, you have your qualitative what you're doing and your quantitative how you've done it, right? So having that in one bullet point is key. That's a strong bullet point in my opinion. So that means that the bullet point will have a metric for every single one.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we can get down here to see exactly what he's doing. So I think we already know that there may not be a lot of numbers here, but there's other ways you can show metrics kind of without. You can show things like impact and outcome kind of without numbers sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I want to say, well, lead, led. See, that's how you know what I'm saying when we were just talking about the past tense thing where like led looks better than lead.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
But led, NIST, CSF 2.0 control, investigation, and audit readiness.
But these are
Coordinate.
more excuse me, the way he wrote it is more of a job description then.
Right. It is. It is. And I wonder is that what they did? I think we'll figure out by the time we get to bullet 2 or 3. Um, coordinating cross-functional remediation, validating control evidence, and building. Okay, so I don't think it's from the job description, but it does read like that because he has for a clean March 2026 external audit entry. Configure and maintain Navex IRM across table, workflows and fields, managing data quality and platform integrity to support enterprise risk and exception lifestyle operations. And let's see. I think things. So, for example, I think this could be a strong bullet. Let's see how he goes with it. Drive continuous third-party risk monitoring via security scorecard, managing threshold-based alerts, conducting weekly vendor reviews, and escalating material third and fourth-party risks to senior leadership with clear context and recommended action. So I think something right here definitely will benefit from some metrics for sure, because anybody that knows like third-party risk is like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people was, I'll just say the blue team and GRC, everybody probably was busy yesterday with some more, was it some more Salesforce stuff? Yeah, I'll just say that. If you know, you know. So
Mm,
going from like what you're doing continuous, like show us what's the result of this continuous third party risk monitoring that you've been doing via security scorecard.
right.
So I think that's cool. Some of the stuff seems like stuff he may do throughout the week, but it'll be cool if it's like I like to look at. So like when I do resumes, a lot, I probably call it right here like key accomplishments. So I try to frame it as if like these are things that's not in my day to day. These are things that I completed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
which is what you call like one of the things I provide my clients is a brag sheet, right? Because the brag sheet is like real-time accomplishments that you've done for your projects. In my opinion, like you just said, that's what should be going here versus your day-to-day.
no, that's facts. Though I agree with that. I agree with that.
And that's why it reads like a job description. Like,
Yeah,
like copy and paste type of thing. So yeah, we definitely have to um make sure we refrain from doing those things.
and this is why we know that he knows because I think he just added that role because oh no he didn't. So it's a similar right here. I thought it was different, but he does have more metrics here. So I think he just added some stuff recently, just maybe
Recently.
to do
just
the thing.
yeah. But we still need more,
Yeah.
you know. Like again, going back to the business side, how are you going to make your hiring manager look better? Because that's what it is, right? We get hired because our hiring managers, we are put in a position with our hiring managers to, in a sense, make them look better overall based on the hire of us. So when I'm reading your resume, I need to be able to see how you're going to come in under me and make me look even better as a manager.
Right.
Which is why I say you have, that's why we keep going back to these metrics to simply stand out.
Yeah, and funny enough, if we look in his projects, that he has some of that stuff for like showing the outcome of what something did. So that's, I mean, we're probably gonna sound like a broken record saying that. They were in HR years ago. I don't know if they actually even should keep it on the resume because it's not, currently what they're doing. So
Right.
I would probably say these two HR roles can go. Like a decade ago, if they was to ask you about this stuff on the resume, you probably would not remember. So honestly, I probably would say these two gigs can get up off here.
But
You
then it
know,
looks like, wait, were they actually in recruiter roles or were they just working with the
no,
technology?
there was a technology analyst working at Workday. So
Oh,
they was working with Workday. So I mean, it's technical in a sense, but I don't think like I said, this is more than 10 years ago.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. None of this stuff that we see here shows up in any of the jobs that he's doing now. So that's what I was like, I don't know much of a benefit of that, unless he wanted to go back to working with Workday, but from a security standpoint. Now that'll be different because you could then lead these roles on here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you have the projects on here because you have a lot of experience, but that's just me. You could probably have these in the GitHub or something, but I really don't think you need these based on the experience that you have.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Michael had asked as well further up if he still needed to have his projects on there, even with his internship and his current role. But I think in your case, Michael, yes, but in this person's case, no.
Yeah, for sure. And what I would also say is that let's see, we see some good stuff down here. So some of the tools, or pretty much a lot of stuff that he's already talked about up here, he got it broken out the way you do. Now I don't be breaking it out. I try to condense space because I know that they're gonna do Control F and look for what they're gonna look for. So
Mhm.
that's why I don't do that. But at the same time, it still works because I think on my resume that I got done by a friend, I think she did mine like this and it still gets. So I'm with them. Okay, shout out to another University of Houston grad. You can keep 2014 on here, but I will say as we get older, sometimes we don't need to have it because the ageism stuff. So that's one of the reasons why sometimes you don't want to really put it
Yeah.
on there. So that's the reason why I think why the other person didn't have this on there, just the ageism stuff.
Right. That's absolutely a real thing. I would say too, because of the type of roles that it looks, because you are in the GRC space, right? In a sense, I will say I would definitely add a lot more to your skills section. There's just so much more that you can expand on in terms of frameworks and different tools and things of that sort. So
Nah, for sure, for sure. And so we're on his LinkedIn. So man, he got all right. I'm gonna try to skip past like this because he put where he worked at. Okay. It looked good. I don't want to go to it just because I don't want to have it just on here and people looking at where are you working and stuff at.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like everywhere. What I recommend is people don't put like their current title to be at the company. I don't really recommend that. I recommend just putting it more neutral because your company may change, but your title.
I think somebody
Most,
asked that. Should they put their most recent company on their LinkedIn? I personally don't.
I don't.
I don't even, everything says confidential. Like every company I've worked at is confidential. So you don't know what company I've ever worked at. And in terms of my new position, you don't even know I'm working at a new position. So I think,
Um,
yeah.
this is a good one for my guy Bryson. Listen, even at my level, senior manager, director, they still asking us to show the work. So those projects, even if it's external sites, are needed. Yeah, yeah, that's what I agree. Like put it, you can have it. Just like I said, just have it somewhere that's not on the resume. And like if it's some stuff that you actually can do that's not company proprietary information, do some walkthroughs on it and just showcase your skill sets that way. It can kind of make a lot more easier for you in the interview. I need to get back to doing that because it was pretty fun. I could do a walkthrough, send it to the recruiters, and they share it with the hiring team. So it's not a lot to have to ask me. Um, Now, if we go back here, I just want to look at, man. I may not review anymore LinkedIn just because people's stuff is on here. But it looks like she does not use this a lot. So I'll definitely say use LinkedIn more just because I'm gonna stop sharing that for a second. Use LinkedIn more just to brand yourself. I
Mhm.
believe that your brand is like everything. Like as we see companies right size get more leaner, the only thing that's going to stand out in the job market is going to be yourself. So who knows you? It's going to be a big one. So making sure your name comes up in those rooms that you're not even in, just because somebody knows you, be like, oh yeah, hey, I seen that guy. He just posted that he did, some AI governance with, whatever company that you work for. Let's hit him up. He got a lot of experience in it. Like that's literally what I've been seeing happening with friends of mine. They've been pretty much SMEs and like a lot of the stuff they do, and that's all they talk about, and that's how they position themselves. And so now they get the cream of the crop jobs and interviews because of that.
Right. Right.
Let's see who is this. Louise. I think that's Xavier. Let's see. Let me share the screen again.
There's
And
that enthusiastic and
uh-huh.
experienced.
And so they want to be so they're currently a principal cybersecurity engineer and they want to be a threat detection engineer, or they want to go into security research or architecture.
Okay.
And guys, if we do not get to y'all, we will try to do it again. It's just a lot to do. And I know I'm probably like 10, 15 minutes. I need to jet because I need to go do something. But, you know, you don't need this because we're not mailing in resumes anymore. This came from people who used to mail in resumes. So you really don't need that on your resume anymore.
Can you believe that was a thing?
Man,
Like
listen,
putting my resume in the mail. That's just
I like the old school way. Go find the manager at the office and go talk to him.
yeah. Yeah, that was nice. Now everything is online with the AI scanning through your resume.
Yeah. And so right here, I like to put dots. I mean, you can put dashes, but I like dots right here. This is like a AWS account ID because it's just so long.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, and maybe the AI can't pick up on that either. Keep those things in mind. Again, when it comes to parsing out, it can't pick up certain things. Also, we don't see a LinkedIn on here.
mhm.
Um, this summary, it's um, it's it's just very like soft skills in a sense to me. Like it's not necessarily showing the value, and then calling out that you possess 10 plus security certifications.
Doesn't mean
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
no, I was with you. I was saying it doesn't mean much.
It doesn't mean much. And then having we really don't want to be using those types of things in our resume. Remember, resume is formal, LinkedIn is informal.
I want to
Mm,
have some fun to see what Gemini say.
oh yeah, yeah.
I think I wonder if Gemini is just basing on what they got written down versus the format.
We'll prompt it and say, well,
Okay, so it is bringing some stuff up that you would have mentioned. I just want to have fun. I never really um, bring in Gemini to, hey, analyze his resume for me or whatever. But I may start just to have fun, or you guys can start doing it now because y'all just saw me do it. But let's see what we see right here: LTI Mindtree Remote, design cloud architecture and develop an adoption strategy for the business. Okay, the develop, deploy, and oversee the security. This is like a job description.
Yep.
This is like a job description. Perform automation to streamline daily operation using Python, Terraform, PowerShell, KQL. Yeah, this is like a job description. I don't even think we have to kind of go through that. It's really nothing that we haven't said that would say that. I would just say these need to be stronger. If you are, well, first of all, if you're trying to go to detection engineering, uh, maybe you need to have stuff about you created some detections and you mapped them with MITRE and you did this other stuff. But we can go on to the second part because I wonder how are you currently working here and there. I mean, granted, if you are, I definitely wouldn't have them both on the resume unless you were doing like some fractional consulting or something. But
Right.
that's different. Yeah, here's the cardinal sin again. I'm responsible for identifying problems. All right, guys. So I want y'all to know this is why you can't listen to AI. Now, Jim and I told us this is a strong resume.
I bet
I
if we
didn't.
prompted more and said, "How is it a strong resume when it's and then we just say X, Y, and Z, I bet it would say, "Oh yeah, you're right."
Yeah, I should have prompted and said you're an expert career coach of over 10 plus years. You have experience doing thousands of resumes. Please review this resume and tell me what you think about it. I just didn't feel like prompting it because I want to see what it's going to say without all the prompts.
Mm-hmm.
So Gemini's a lot like Gen Z, no initiative. But yeah, that's bad. I mean, that's totally bad. Yeah, a lot of these things are getting bad because you got three bullets in here, like you're just throwing stuff on here. Implement support troubleshoot issues.
Yeah, even the student IT technician assists in essential all IT duties. Like, that's what is that?
Yeah, you said you were, well, I guess at the company could be principal. Um, maybe, but I don't know. I think like you do a lot of good stuff in this role here, but like I said, you'd have a hard time probably getting an interview for a detection engineer because we don't see anything detection engineer like. And void PBX. I ain't seen PBX.
Is there a sweet spot for bullets? I've heard that recruiters like 3. I personally won't do more than 6.
Yeah, 3 5. But yeah, I mean, the resume.
But
Already.
again, all these are all certifications.
I don't even know if this is a cert. Sometimes people get certs and certificates confused because um, I don't. What is this? I don't know what that is.
AWS partner. Yeah, I don't know.
This is probably a cert. This is probably a cert. MITRE does have cert, so this could be one. Yeah, some of these things don't align with whatever career path like you want to go to. Like if you're in
Right.
security already, they don't care that you had the security associates. I don't know what security and API servers is. Yeah. Um, there's some stuff here, but like I said, I'll also read like a job description. Let's see. Yeah, we have this skill section, but this is just high level, vague kind of skills. Like, okay, you do DLP. What tool do you use for DLP? What tools are you using for networking security? What firewalls have you used? So that's a lot of that stuff. So I'm not gonna spend too much time digging into him because that's what he gave us. This person, who is this? Let me see real quick what they want to do. Okay, this would be fun. So they are currently a cybersecurity analyst and they want to be a senior security analyst. And then I think eventually they want to be a cyber lawyer. I actually been thinking about doing that. Like I've been seeing some cyber law roles that's look like pretty cool. But of course I would have to go to school. But
Hmm.
providing integral support enterprise agencies globally. I'm not a fan of the format of like all this over here. I'm just a fan of the basic K, this big centered, and then have this all on one line. And, and I feel like it's a lot of wasted white space.
Yeah.
But let's see what you got. So, December 24, led development, assessment, and analyzing of cybersecurity documentation for 12 plus information systems in accordance with FISMA, NIST, RMF, FedRAMP, etc. Supporting the business development process through participation as FedRAMP SME, support systems. I think we got to messed up with a bullet point right here. Okay, yeah, it's lacking some metrics in it. It seems like maybe you just put them on here maybe to get it submitted. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Just looking at these, because like these both start with the same thing.
Right.
So in the foundation, there's probably some good skills there, but it definitely needs to be fine tuned. Remediation specialist, Bank of America. Establish and manage infrastructure remediation and governments to safeguard business needs. Okay, we got y'all word, you and Chris word poems right
I'm
here.
surprised how many people, well, you know what? This is not even surprising. You will have to utilize AI, right? Like a lot of the resumes could be much better if you learned to prompt correctly and get AI to expand on these bullet points to make it, so great that a hiring manager wants to interview you. But like putting things like coordinated with GRC in the development of ATO assessments or developed and maintained incident response plan, like what makes you different than 500,000 other people that can do that same thing?
Yeah, no, facts. I'm with you. I'm with you when you're right. And also though, I think like I said, the prompt part and people don't know how to prompt it to do the right thing, nor do they have their brag sheet and so to have the right bullet points to have those even look better.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some good stuff here, like it's here, but it just needs to be more.
Right.
Because they did some good work at different companies. So they were at okay, Disney. Let's go. I went over it. Yeah, that mean they were there when Disney Plus launched, but I don't know if they were working on it. But yeah, it's just very like it reminds me of the times I had a consult with the guys that do the projects only one time and I go deeper into the bullet point and they can't answer it.
Mhm.
That's kind of what it reminds me of. Um, Maintain assessment authorization, CSAM. So yeah, you got the frameworks and stuff on here, but it's just really not a lot of impact showing. It's really not a lot of like we see your analyst, but it's not a lot of like I know you wanted to be senior, so it's nothing that's putting you in that next tier of like this is a leader. I just see a
Yeah.
person that's doing their work, which is also fine if that's what you want to do. But I know that you are trying to get to the senior level. So you're definitely going to have to position yourself as a senior level. Like, none of these roles said you were a lead anything or did you lead a team or let's see, you had a development, but let's see, where's the projects or anything like, led some, enterprise wide implementation for whatever, get creative. There's some stuff that's a funny thing. Like every time you have a call, you actually talk to people about these things and you start bringing them up. So, yeah, we did XYZ and I did this. I say, I know you did something. You just, for whatever reason, didn't write
It's
it
not
down, forgot
there.
about it.
Right.
So they got the CISM, bachelor's degree. Okay. ServiceNow, NIST, GRC, um, Archer. Yeah, I don't know why you got these all bunched up like that. I wanted this come from Indeed, but Nessus, Archer, Active Directory, instant response. Yeah, this should be O365. Because I'm trying to look through here, see if there's some stuff that you listed down there That's not up here. Yeah, I didn't see some stuff that you should have had down here. Like FedRAMP should have been down there, and this RML, FISMA. A lot of stuff should have been down there. So I think you're leaving some money on the table. Like I said, but a person like you could definitely be helped because you have a good foundation. You just need to be tweaked. Let me see that they give us their LinkedIn. Okay, no, so they did not give it to us. Okay, I think we're gonna review one more, and then I'm gonna give you guys your afternoon back. Let me see what they want to do. Actually, hold on. Who is this? This is look where. Well, we actually got time to do one LinkedIn thing. I don't think my guy mind because he sent it to me. He support the show. My guy Jay Lou. We can look at his stuff really quick. He been putting in a lot of work. So he currently is a catastrophe adjuster and wants to be a Linux system admin or a platform engineer, or we get into DevOps. So he already got some of the stuff that we're looking for. That's good. I like this locked in. I like that. Oh, so he actually already started a position. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the banner as I'm not the banner, but like the thing in the back. I think that is the banner. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay, so he kind of got this like the first part of like what your resume would be. Okay.
Mhm. So you can do that. My only thing is LinkedIn is where you really come in and show personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to be so formal. So I always tell clients you don't want to just copy and paste everything that's from your resume onto your LinkedIn. So I would get a little bit more personable in that about section. Like, yeah, because companies want to hire personality as well.
No, I agree. I agree. Where are we? Okay. Top skills. That's good. Also, I'll say reason why you don't have to do this because LinkedIn also has a skill section that's probably indexed a little better than putting them right here. But yeah, shout out to him. He's definitely always talking about the work. He's always working on Twitter about on different stuff. So that's literally how you get ahead. Just put your head down and work. Um, like I said, and he's showcasing that he is trying to position himself as a person who's been using AI specifically with Anthropic and Claude. So this is what I was telling somebody to do earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So he's literally telling you, hey, what he's doing and how you can check out the stuff that he's been doing. He has a blog. So this is part of a personal win. So hey, to say a lot of times on a job application, they'll say you got anything you want to share with the hiring team or the recruiter asks you, okay, hey, I have a blog. This is an easy way too, because one of the things that people, I promise you, almost 99.975985555%. When you go to an environment, documentation is either trash or old or not updated, and nobody wants to do it. So the fact that you can even write will make you look strong because hey, you can come in there and do documentation. And that's how you can also learn about the environment and why what process gaps and policies don't make sense. But yeah, he's really been branding himself and working on these different themes. And I believe that actually attributed to him probably landing the current role that they have right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's so important to show how active you are. And again, a thought leader.
Yep. But I like it. I like it. Let's see. He got his stuff down there. Cool. Yeah. And like I said, you can have any type of different background and make it. You just got to put the work in. Like I
Mhm.
remember him. Like I'm a person that watch various YouTube content. So he was a waiver on YouTube. So for people familiar with YouTube, they had different YouTubers that show people how to get waves or the different type of waves, the techniques to maintain your waves, and that's what he used to do. Yeah, so that's also how I'm familiar with him. Okay, definitely, I like the LinkedIn profile. Keep putting in the work, keep grinding. As you can see, it's been good to you, and you only get out what you put in. So I'm definitely with you.
Right. And like you had mentioned, those recommendations are important because they show trust. So getting more recommendations is great. You can request them for people that you already know. Request recommendations from your friends, request recommendations from your friends' friends if y'all have ever met up in a group setting, right? Start there and then also be willing to give it too. So you can request, but go ahead and give it first if you know that they may not see it in enough time. Give that recommendation, and then they'll be, you know, feeling obligated to give one back. Or you can just ask somebody, hey, if I give you a recommendation, will you give me one back? If they say yes, great, go ahead and move forward with that. But it's really good to have recommendations.
For sure, for sure. This is going to be the last one we do. This guy currently is a vulnerability management analyst, and they want to be a vulnerability management automation engineer. I'm not too familiar with the title, but I would have to do some research on, what they do outside. I guess they try to automate VM management, which is pretty cool. I guess the thing is about how do you test it and make sure that's done the right way and then break anything. So it's still going to be some type of human oversight in that. But so he says experience in analyzing CVE based vulnerabilities, prioritizing remediation across enterprise infrastructure, and supporting risk based vulnerability management programs in development and production environments. He's skilled in vulnerability triage, exposure management, exploitability assessments, and remediation validation using platforms such as Tenable, Cognito, Dynatrace, and White Hat Black Duck Continuous Dynamic for application security testing, DAST. Experience in translating vulnerability scale data into actionable remediation strategies and risk insights for engineering and infrastructure teams with hands-on experience in security automation, scripting, and AI-driven lab environments that simulate real-world vulnerability discovery, exposure analysis, and remediation decision workflows. So cool. I think the only gripe I have right now is the spacing
Mhm.
for this. It's like a lot of space going on, and you don't know if it's all the same role or what's going on here.
And
Uh,
sometimes, like one of the things I do is I may use a different color for my title, like my job
mhm.
title, and I definitely always italicize, right? That's how I'm able to clearly show that that is a job title versus the company I worked at, for example.
Yeah. Okay, so this is his current role. He's in Tenable, so it's kind of stuff we knew because he kind of stated it already. Um, I will say that he doesn't. Okay, so he has some metrics here, but it's not really any in these two parts. Develop PowerShell, Python, and Bash automations. It should have been automations, but to streamline vulnerability validation and security operation tasks. Design automation for SSL TLS certificate installation and renewal, reducing deployment errors and improving efficiency by 40. See, we hadn't seen one of these all day where somebody gave it to us straight. This will
Right.
be more. Um, Maintain security automation scripts within enterprise GitHub repositories for version control and operational transparency.
I
Okay.
will say, because somebody could be asking, why are things bolded throughout here? So this is one of those things that AI tends to do. AI tends to bold, but besides that, the human eye is naturally going to look at what's bolded.
Mm-hmm.
So bolding is okay. I would say too, if he had more metrics, he could bold those metrics even more and it would stand out,
Yeah.
which obviously we need to see more metrics here.
Right. Yeah. Not to think right here, he needs to condense and like it's just a lot of wasted white space right here.
Mhm.
So get it to be together a little bit. So he did Perscalas. Shout out to Perscalas. He did that for about a year. He did vulnerability management there. And I don't know. So I'm okay. I'm confused. Okay. So he did the intern for Perscalas. And then I guess this is what he did as a cybersecurity analyst. Okay. So my only zonk is that you should just have your GitHub stuff. I think it's up here. You already have it up here.
Yeah.
If you did want somebody to click on that instead of tagging everything GitHub repository, just double highlight security operations and link it if you want to do that. But then again, like I'm telling you, everybody's not going to click on it to go look at that. So that's why I'm saying why this really doesn't benefit you too much because everybody, like, we're not even clicking on it. So imagine a recruiter that just saw it. So also I'm trying to figure out, is the security lab a part of the internship or what? So this part of the resume actually has a lot more questions because we would try to figure out, okay, what part of this was the internship, what part of this was just labs and stuff you were doing, because there's no distinction. So I definitely would say to fix that. And then now you have your tools down here: CISA Plus, AZ900, Cybersecurity Essentials. You got your Perscala stuff. And okay, yeah, I mean, you got your tools and stuff down here. But yeah, I really think this last part is really what's kind of like throwing everything off. So I don't even know if you're currently watching the stream, but if you're watching on the replay, please comment, and I guess maybe give us some insight on some of the stuff because it's definitely a little bit confusing.
Yeah, but I think it also really comes down to that spacing. I
Mhm.
think Perscalis is like we've done some work with Perscalis. I think that it's great that um, you know, Perscalis was where you had your internship, almost like an apprenticeship, I
Mhm.
want to say. Um, but then you have education and training, you have it mentioned again. And I feel like because it's mentioned again, it kind of hurts you
Mhm.
because you have it. Like, I would get rid of that if you already have it up, being as its experience for you.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I agree. And let's see, we got that. Let me see. I think they got that LinkedIn. Let's see if we can get to it.
Oh, he's here. Perscalis is where the projects begin. Yes.
All right. So this is his LinkedIn. Okay, you got Security Analyst, CISA Plus, Azure, Tenable, Qualys. Okay, so you got vulnerability management. So I guess the thing would be, do you want to be a vulnerability management analyst or you want to stick with the security analyst part? Because you want to target and niche it down as much as possible. Because believe it or not, vulnerability management is actually a good, consistent, good bag to get on
Mm-hmm.
the real that people overlook a lot. Okay, so he is at that company. I'm not gonna say the name out loud, but let me see how long he's actually been there.
I would also say, as you're scrolling through, like putting your email and your phone number obviously is personal information. I wouldn't even advise it. Like, if your LinkedIn is optimized the way it should be optimized, you should have no issues with people reaching out to you, seeing if you're seeking a role, which I'm assuming that's why you have your email and your phone number in your banner. But I would not put that there. Like,
Yeah,
there's
I
so
will need.
many scammers out there.
Yeah, definitely. I will remove that. It's not. I don't think it's gonna help people call you more or less. That's just me. But yeah, I need to connect you with Rose. Then Rose is at this company. She's been there for a while. She does DLP and I think maybe Inside the Threat there. But that's cool. I like this. I like this. See,
Like,
so this is the stuff. This is the benefit of having your LinkedIn versus on your resume. Well, on your resume, it looks clunky. Where here, it looks perfect. I can
mhm.
click on all your featured things and see exactly what you did. So I like that. Um, let's see what you've been doing. Like you've got a channel or so. Okay. Yeah. See, so I like this. You are putting yourself out there, whether it's getting the most engagement or not, is out there. And eventually it'll pick up once people find out what it is. So yeah, I would say keep at what you're doing. Like don't stop not posting. It seems like you just recently just got very consistent. So stay consistent. If you can post once a week, if you can, sometimes people don't use stuff that much, but I would definitely say try to do that. Um, okay. So now I see what you did. You did Proscalas and you did this. Shout out to Josh. Josh definitely been putting everybody on with Login Pacific. So okay, cool. You about to make your a year coming up pretty soon. So shout out to you.
But this
Uh,
is how it should be presented on the resume.
I know that's why we're confused, and I think the biggest thing is like the formatting on your resume is like the most confusing thing I've probably seen in a while. So I definitely would tell you to fix that. Like you use AI a lot, so let AI fix it. And if not, hit one of us up to fix that for you. We've seen a lot of this stuff already. Yeah, you didn't have Josh stuff on there. Like if you want to put it on there, like put it on there. It's okay. Um, I've had clients that use Login Pacific to get jobs, and Josh has validated that you guys work for him. So shout out to Josh. Okay, well, we got the right skills here. Cool. I think this is a good profile for the most part. Outside of like changing this and this, for the most part, I think it's a good profile. I don't really have too many qualms
Yeah.
with what you have on here. You got anything to add?
I don't keep at it. I like the amount of followers you have. That seems like it's been consistent growth, just because you've been active. So once you kind of tighten things up on your resume and your LinkedIn, it's definitely going to even increase the amount of people who reach out to you about a job. But as we've said on here multiple times, you have to narrow it down. And this goes for everybody. What exactly do you want to do? We shouldn't have to, if we have to guess, that means the recruiter and the hiring manager, which are the ones that can actually get you the position, that means they have to guess too. And that's something that you don't want them to do.
Facts, facts, facts. And shout out to you. Hello from East Point, Georgia. Just want to say that this is amazing work you all are doing. I'm a huge fan of the platform, and I appreciate the free game. Yeah, I mean, we make it turn this into its own IP or something that's pretty fun. Reminds me of like I watched some of those shows where people call in and talk to the doctor with their life problems. So eventually, probably can make it like something like that or whatever. However, Markeisha, do you want to drop in the chat how if they want to work with you? Can they work with you? I'll go back through
I
and
wish
add.
I can. For me to drop in the chat, I have to log into my YouTube right now.
Really?
Yeah, but it's fine. I'll put it in the private chat with us.
Okay, yeah, because I'll go back through and add it as well. But I know if they want to just see it for now.
Yeah, and also please do not be writing hateful things in the chat. Like if you don't have nice things to say, don't say them at all, right? If you see in the chat somebody had mentioned that was not very nice at all.
He's trying to be funny. Let's see your picture. Feel the deal.
All right, I just sent it to you privately. The best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn, and then you can also hit me up via email.
Yeah, okay.
And please, when you do connect with me, just let me know that you were on this live. It just makes things a lot easier.
And I thought I just give me a second. I know I just had.
Yes, you are very, very welcome. Thank you for submitting. Thank you for those that submitted. Now that you all see, pretty sure once we open this up again, you all will definitely see the benefit of submitting earlier on. Redact. Be sure to redact that information as we mentioned previously. But yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, all the stuff that we just put in the private chat, I also have it in the description for your stuff as well. And so hopefully after this thing processes, I should be able to add you as a collaborator as well.
Yeah, perfect. Somebody asked, do we think a 2-page resume is a bad idea? No, my resume is 3 pages. I've had clients that have 4 pages. I've worked with executives, VPs who have 7 pages, 8 pages, 9 pages. Like the value, right? Like what value are you sharing? Now, if your resume doesn't have value and it's sitting at 3 pages, now that's a problem.
Yeah, I would just say depends on value and what your skill set is.
And your tenure, I guess you could say too, like where you're at in your career. Because if you're the CEO, I don't think a CEO should just have 2 pages of a resume. I would hope to see something so much more longer, right?
Facts. But yeah, guys, after this, once this is through processing, I'm gonna try to get some time steps so you guys can know where we review what. My email will be in the description. Her email is there. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in with us. And until next time, stay textual and we out. Peace.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
I'm so